Welcome back to Broken Sword. We are trying to find... What's this dude's name? Hang on, guys, sneeze. Ah. It's not Montfontaine, it's Marquette.
The door didn't have a sign or label or any kind of identification.
Who's this guy?
He looked blissfully happy for no apparent reason.
All I can do is look at that. That's his power plug, though.
The connector in the socket supplied electricity to the polishing machine.
Let's go in the door here.
Hey now, you can't go in there.
How come?
I'm responsible for the contents of that cupboard.
Oh, yeah, let's talk to him.
Hello.
What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hiya.
I'd like to talk to you for a minute.
That's what I thought you said. Don't look so down in the mouth. No matter how bad things seem, I never let life get on top of me.
He doesn't sound very French.
What's your secret?
Why, it's easy. All you have to do is smile and whistle this little tune.
You know what? If you start whistling, I'll bust you in the teeth.
What the hell, George?
It's a deal.
Have you seen any unsavory characters lurking about in the quarters?
No, sir, I haven't. But I've got nothing to worry about. What's that, Mr. Shiny? You'd take good care of the rascals, I'll bet you would.
Okay, this guy is absolutely
With a
insane.
friend like him, I've no fear of oppressors.
It must be a great comfort.
He is.
This screen is pretty stretched. I've just now really noticed that. Looking at that dude's wide-ass forehead. Man, whatever. Alright. Magic of editing? You'll never know I did that. Yeah, you will, but you won't see it. Alright, so let's talk to this
Would
guy,
Mr. Shiny be your polishing machine by any chance?
Please, don't call him that. He's more of a friend than a machine. I've had Mr. Shiny for 3 years, and he's never let me down once.
How come you got so attached to a polishing machine?
I
'Cause he's
asked you
insane.
not to call him that. He's got a name, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny. It's just that...
You think it's odd, don't you?
A little bit,
I
dude.
don't
Little
mind.
bit.
The rest of the staff think I'm twisted. I heard them snorking behind me back when I gave Mr. Shiny his weekly pull through.
Do you know where I'd find a patient called Marquet?
No, I'm not allowed on the wards with Mr. Shiny.
This guy, let me shake his hand.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not until I've washed, if you don't mind, sir.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Who is it?
That's what I'm asking you. Have you seen him
Come
before?
on, man.
How should I know? You haven't told me who he is.
Take a look at the photo.
Yeah, okay.
Now, have you seen him before?
No.
Here we go. Alright.
See you later.
Yeah, take care now.
I feel like we need to get in there. And this is the obvious answer.
As I tugged the plug out of the socket, the polishing machine coughed, spluttered, and died.
And he's gonna walk all the way around and plug it back in.
Mr. Shiny,
We're
what's
gonna
wrong,
jump
pal?
in there. Oh, come on, no. I don't know why I needed that. But we got it.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Oh, hi. Is this Ward J2?
Yes, sir. The patients are ready for your inspection, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
You'll need this, Doctor.
This is not good. This is not good.
She gave me a long, narrow metal box and a stunning smile. Thanks.
Could you take a look at the client in bed number 3 now? His name is Eric Sopmarsh.
Do you have any clowns on the ward?
Why, yes, we do. A professional clown.
I'll bet he lightens the place up.
Hardly. Monsieur Boissy has been in a coma for the last 3 months.
Well, that's no good.
What's wrong with Boissy?
He was involved in a very nasty accident. A silly stunt involving a unicycle. His current condition is due to post-traumatic shock. It's unlikely he'll ever perform as a clown again.
It's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. Do you have a patient named Marquet on this ward?
Oui, monsieur. He is in the private room at the end of the ward. He has been placed in strict isolation.
Why is Marquet in quarantine?
If you wish to know more, you'll have to speak to Herr Hagenmeier. All I know is that
Herr
Marquet's room is
Hagenmeier?
strictly out of bounds.
Do you know who paid for Marquet's room?
No, of course I don't.
Preferential treatment like that must cost an arm and a leg.
That's
Arm
not my
and a
concern,
leg.
monsieur.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I don't.
What is that? I don't remember picking that up.
Would you like to shake hands with me?
Well,
No, it's okay. Forget it.
Oh,
Thank
what
you,
a header.
nurse.
au revoir, monsieur.
Well, these doctors are calling for
It was a
us.
device used for measuring people's blood pressure.
Oh.
The nurse was stunningly beautiful. The guys on this ward sure were lucky to be in her care.
Why did the music kick up?
This guy didn't look sick to me. He didn't have spots or stitches, and he certainly didn't have a fever.
Let's go see what we can do. Dr. George.
Hello? Anybody home?
Who are you?
My name is Dr. Stobart, and I'm here to steer you down the rocky road to recovery.
Dr. Monroe said there was no cure for what I've got.
Your problem is you stayed in bed too long.
Are you sure you're a qualified doctor?
You better believe it. What can you tell me about Marquet?
He's the man in the private room, isn't he?
He sure is.
That room was mine before I was tossed out like a common squatter.
Do you know what's wrong with Marquet?
They won't even say what's wrong with me. Tell me, doctor, what's your opinion?
It's
It's too
too
early.
early to say.
But I've been here for 3 months.
What's your impression of Nurse Grendel?
She's a very efficient young woman.
Efficient? You make her sound like a vacuum cleaner.
I've no complaints.
The woman in reception described Nurse Grendel as a monster.
Well, that's simply not true. She's quite strict, but that's her job, isn't it? You've got to have discipline in a place like this.
Should we take his blood pressure?
I'm going to take your blood pressure.
Why?
I'm a doctor. It's my job. Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Maybe not. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, Doctor. Who is it?
A cold-blooded killer.
Alright. Well, maybe he knows where the club
Have you ever
is.
heard of the Club Alamut?
I'm not really a nightclub man, Doctor.
I'll come back later. Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
What is this device?
It's for taking the patient's blood pressure, doctor.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Doctor!
What is it?
You haven't taken my blood pressure.
We just did it.
Seems fine to me.
You're not doing it right.
Of course I am.
No, you're not. Dr. Monroe never did it like that.
I can't take a satisfactory reading while you're excited like this. I'll come back later.
Don't blow your cover there, George.
Oh, Doctor.
What now?
You didn't finish.
So we got to do the blood pressure first. So how do we...
Okay,
Where do we learn how to give blood pressure?
You don't have the...
I'll come back when...
How do I learn how to do it? That's the thing. Can we get the nurse to do it?
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
No.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Can we drug him? We got any drugs? No.
Pardon me, nurse.
Oui, monsieur?
Do you want this,
Device for measuring blood pressure?
Yeah, do you want it back?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, nurse.
Au revoir, monsieur.
So where would we learn how to give blood pressure or take blood pressure? No.
Excuse me, sir.
Aha! Just the man.
Uh-oh.
You must be the new boy.
Yeah, I must be.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him? He is fresh out of medical school.
He should know how to
He
take
will
blood
open his
pressure.
eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
He just walks wherever he wants. Alright, can we talk to him now?
Hi, my name's George Stobart.
Yes, sir?
So what's your name, kid?
Benoit, they call me Bunny.
Bunny?
Jeez, and you don't mind?
Oh, I've gotten used to it.
Okay, Benoit, you're gonna help me.
Anything you say, sir.
Do you know anything about a patient named
Why, he wouldn't know
Marquet?
anything.
No, sir, I don't know much about any of the patients.
I've never met a doctor who admits that he's only human.
I'm only a trainee, sir. I'm sure I'll get the hang of things.
Do you know the nurse on Ward J2?
No, miss, this is my first day here. I can't wait to get my hands dirty. I was talking about treating my first patient, of course. I didn't mean I'd get my hands dirty with a nurse.
Shut up, Benoit.
Okay, sir.
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something. Follow me, Benoit.
I'm right behind you, sir.
I should have totally shocked him.
Hi, it's me again. I'll come back later.
He would just walk by and then...
You haven't finished taking my blood pressure.
Come on, Bunny.
Will you keep quiet? You're disturbing the other patients.
I'll keep quiet when you've taken my blood pressure properly.
I have to see Jacques Marquet first.
How come he gets preferential treatment? It's because he's got money, isn't it?
I'll come back when you've dealt with that chip on your shoulder.
Okay, do I talk to him and tell him to just take the blood pressure?
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir?
Do you still have that gauge I gave you?
Oh, yes. What do you want me to do with it?
Use it on Eric Sotmarsh.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I supposed to sneak past while he's doing this? I am. Come on, scroll it all the way over. Come on.
He sat like a statue of a sack of potatoes, but the cop's eyes were as watchful as a hawk's.
Dun dun dun. Let's get this guy.
I'm Dr. Stobart.
Bonjour, docteur.
Have you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How's the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I have never seen him before.
That's good.
Would you like to shake hands?
What for?
As a gesture of goodwill.
On reflection? No.
Damn.
Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, doc.
Marquet?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lachmar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
I thought you were one of the assassin.
Assassin?
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grand Master. Quickly tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
You have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them as for Klausner. He has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
Syria, huh?
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. If Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear that...
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter. The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Stand back, monsieur.
You moved pretty quick for a sack of potatoes. You're sitting there like, ah. Trying to get both my hands in. Back
Hello,
in
George.
goes.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah. Killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable.
Not us.
What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window.
Ooh, what is that?
Have you ever heard of the Hashiashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again.
That's right, Khan.
Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves. Do you want to look after the gem?
No, George. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
No.
You want to check her blood pressure?
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one? Rousseau or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to Andre.
I'll let you work it out.
Hey, is that our guy?
He was a thin-faced, pallid guy with a questionable taste in outlandish clothes. My mother used to dress like that. I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
Does
That's
Polly's on
me.
his
You
shirt?
want my autograph?
No, I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay, shoot.
All kinds of
Does
stuff.
the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure, it was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That's gross.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn. That's where Pegram was digging.
That's
Pegram!
right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived.
What do you know about
Do
Pegram?
you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
No, not
Well,
at all, actually.
just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. This friend who has the manuscript,
She's told us
oui,
about this guy.
the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
We didn't.
I know it well. I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers,
Georgie.
diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
What
How
else you
come the
got?
Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars
they
soon
stole
held
it all.
land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was
Oh, we've been
never
rolling.
found?
What time is it? All right.
Who knows?
We're about done.
So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
We gotta see.
Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
Alright, so there's the bad
Roughly
guys.
the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassin.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legend surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Of course there was.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
How did
Keep
the
going.
assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect
disguise,
would name
huh?
an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
I think it does.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Peagram's messenger boy.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part
We're
of the
trusting this
Templar
guy a little
treasure?
too much.
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well, I try to keep an open mind on the matter. Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
No.
That's good.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Ooh.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia. I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
I bet that's Syria. I don't think anything else.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Do we need to hide in here? Is that what it is?
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
We do.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for
Okay.
me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
Oh, ooh, different angle.
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flash!
We gotta push the totem on top of him.
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Who was that? Back in Nico. Nico just save us?
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor George.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together.
Yeah,
and
come
how
on,
come
Nico.
you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
It's true, we do have the tripod.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
Ooh.
I sure hope so. Did I show you this matchbook?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
We found out more about it, though.
I'd better get back to the quest.
We're taking it with us. Let's go back to the police station. There's probably nothing to do because he's gone. We gotta stop though.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur?
I'm the...
I see.
Outside the... They stopped me.
Could you describe...
One look... Their names are...
Bon.
See you later, Sergeant.
We're gonna end it right there. Drop a like if you haven't already. Drop a sub if you're new. I am